In this topic, we're quickly going to talk about how to choose an appropriate query type. Before we do that, I'm going to delete my table that I've created with direct query connection because I want to keep the server resources available. So now we have our 3 existing tables. We can mash up a lot of different other data sources if you want to. But the point of this video is to talk about how to choose an appropriate query type. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the data menu here, so we can see all of our individual connectors. So the idea is that you want to use the proper connector for the data that you're querying. It's pretty much common sense, but we should just spend a little bit of time talking about it. For example, if we want to connect to a JSON file, we'll probably want to use the Json Connector. And what that actually does is it will write a little bit of custom M code behind the scenes that's going to make the transition a little bit easier. It's going to allow us to connect to the data and clean it up in a way that will make it a little bit more presentable. So it basically handles a couple sets in the intermediate. If you want to connect to an Excel file, use the Excel file connector. Or if you want to connect to maybe a web data source, it's pretty much common. One, because you might want to pull data off of a website directly. Maybe that website has tables on it to scrape off from there. There are also SharePoint connectors, SharePoint list, other SharePoint folders, things like that. We also have maybe like a local folder connector. So if you have data, let's say you have 10 Excel files living in a folder, you want to connect to an entire folder, and maybe get the one that was updated most recently. Or you can combine all 10 different files in the folder in one data source, like that. Basically, the idea is going through a list of data connectors that you have available to you and see if there is something out of the box that you can use. You also have the option of using the Obdc Connector, which is basically like the Swiss Army knife of connectors. You can connect to a lot of different data sources. With that connection, you'll just have to do a little bit of Googling on how to set that up. So we won't go any further with these different connectors. There are